One person's already had a torn bicep doing that. I'm staying way back.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. As you guys saw in that intro, we've got some new information to share with you guys about the injury that was sustained after that Eddie versus Thor confrontation a couple of nights ago, the video that got scrubbed from the internet. So that intro was a story from a strongman competitor and commentator named Lawrence Chalet, or Big Laws. Now, he was doing a Q&A on his story, and one of the first questions he answered was about a guy named Don Idries. Now, Don is one of the top dogs at World's Ultimate Strongman and Core Sports, and he was also in that video, that Eddie versus Thor video. If you guys, it's still around on some websites. You can't really find it much on YouTube. I think it's on Reddit, but I'm not going to share it on here because they didn't want me to share the video. They don't want it on YouTube, so I'm going to respect their wishes and not put it back up. But if you go back and find that video and watch it somewhere, he is the bald guy in the black shirt. And at one point, he actually does push Eddie back. He's got his hand on Eddie. So that was interesting. And after that story about Don, where someone asked if Don was okay, he responded to another story saying somebody already tore their bicep getting in between Eddie and Thor. Now, I've heard from multiple people before seeing that story that was what happened. There was this guy, Don Idries, and he tore a bicep somehow during that confrontation. We still don't know exactly what happened, exactly how his bicep tore, but I'd heard that from multiple people, and then to see it from him, because Lawrence he's there in Dubai doing the commentary for the fight. He's right in the mix of this. So to see him, he's the first person that I've seen make a public statement about this injury. I think that confirms that is what happened. And actually, World's Strongest Fan, you guys might be familiar with that YouTube channel. He actually reached out to me, and he was able to actually confirm that this is what happened, that Don is the person, or at least one of the people, that was injured, and that the injury was a bicep tear. So shout out to World's Strongest Fan if you guys want to check out his YouTube channel. He's a strongman expert. Strongman isn't my field of expertise, but I am interested in this fight. That's why I'm talking about it over here on this bodybuilding channel. So it's always good to have guys like him help me figure some of this stuff out. So there still remains some questions unanswered. Like, what was the real reason they wanted that video off the internet? Is it because Don was in the video and they don't want Eddie to get in trouble? Is it really because they didn't have permission to film at the location they were at? And the other thing, too, is I've seen a rumor from a lot of different people that there was a female injured. I've seen nothing to officially support that statement. So it is entirely possible that Don was the only person injured. So I guess that aspect still remains a question, whether anyone else was injured or not. And I guess the third part is, how did the injury actually happen? You would think you'd have to be exerting himself pretty hard to tear a bicep in that confrontation. So I didn't see in that video anything that looked like him tearing a bicep. And remember, Thor specifically said in his video statement that Eddie severely injured somebody, which would imply that Eddie did something to him to cause that injury, not necessarily him doing something to Eddie, like pushing him backwards, and that's what tore the bicep. So that part still remains kind of a mystery to me as well. But as I get further updates and as I get further information that is verified, I will make sure to share that with you guys here. But as of right now, one person looks like was injured, Don Idries, and it looks like it was a bicep tear. That looks to be pretty official. Now let's get into some bodybuilding stories here, starting out with a classic physique story. Kalecinski arrives in Kuwait, and the first thing he does is he gets a picture in that famous magic mirror, that same magic mirror that Big Ramy took so many of his Olympia prep photos, the same magic mirror that Rolly Winkler took so many photos and videos during some of his famous Olympia and Arnold Classic preps. And he's actually there with Coach Abdullah, that's Brandon Curry's coach, taking the picture of So it's kind of cool to see that crossover, and as you guys know, will be competing in that Kuwait Pro Classic Physique category. Not really trying to earn an Olympia qualification at this point because he's already qualified. So I think he's really just going over there to make a statement. And sometimes at shows like this, there's extra money offered to these guys just to show up. So maybe that was the case as well, to get a big name in the show. Maybe they paid him and said, hey, if you come out and do our show, you can have X amount of money plus whatever the prize money is if you win. That could have been entirely possible as well. I know that happens from time to time. And we certainly know there's a lot of money out there in Kuwait, especially at Oxygen gyms. So best of luck to this weekend at that show. Now, next up in the news, a physique update From Hunter Labrada, weighing around 275 pounds. He shows us a front double bicep and a front relaxed pose there. A lot of people comparing this to the recent update from Nick Walker because both Nick and Hunter aren't planning on doing any shows before the Olympia. They're both guys that placed in the top 5 last year. And they're also both guys that it seems their sole focus is to improve their Olympia placings this year. Now, they're both young guys, too. So the fact that they're both in their offseason, they're both only doing the Olympia, their physiques are really at comparable points in their prep for the Olympia, even if their prep hasn't officially started yet. And really, this is one of the biggest, most competitive, really unspoken rivalries there is in bodybuilding right now, because that decision, Labrada in 4th and Nick in 5th, was one of the more controversial decisions that came out of the 2021 Mr. Olympia. A lot of people, I mean, Nick has a really big fan base at this point. A lot of people were pulling for Nick to be in that 4th place spot, and a lot of people were surprised that he was not. So this rivalry between Nick and Hunter, even though there seems to be no actual bad blood between them at all. I haven't seen any back and forth between Nick and Hunter, actually. This is the matchup that most people have their eyes on going into the 2022 Mr. Olympia. People are going to be watching to see if the outcome is different this time around. Obviously, Nick's got a lot going for him. 2021 Arnold Classic champion, 2021 New York Pro champion, top 5 at his first Olympia ever. And he's got a new coach now, Super Sliced Dom Super Sliced. Could that new coach be the difference maker for Nick to finally change up the result between him and Hunter? Now, I believe there's actually about 20 pounds of weight difference between Nick and Hunter in these photos. I believe the last time Nick said his weight was 295. It might have even been in this photo that he weighed 295. And Hunter weighing 275, despite the fact that Nick is actually shorter than Hunter. So you can see what appears to be a pretty significant muscle difference between the two in Nick's favor. Hunter is more of mass with class. He emulates some of what his father brought to the stage back in the day. And Nick Walker is more mass. He's the mutant. He's just kind of a mass monster, not as aesthetic by any stretch as Labrada. So it's going to be an interesting apples and oranges comparison at the 2022 Olympia. But let me know in the comment section below who you think will come out on top. Will it be Nick Walker? Will it be Hunter Labrada? Let me know. Now, next up in the news, I thought this was interesting as well. Lou Ferrigno announces that he's going to be entering the NFT market. So I've seen a lot of different bodybuilders try out this NFT thing, and I'm going to be honest up front. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of NFTs in bodybuilding and really NFTs in general. I think there's so many out there that seem like they're just a money grab and just an attempt to get some quick cash and don't have any real utility. I do think there is some value in some NFTs, but I think the majority are probably just a cash grab. Lou Ferrigno's, he says that his are going to be pictures of him from back in the day in bodybuilding. Like the theme is old school bodybuilding with his NFTs, and the utility is the fact that they're going to serve as a ticket to be able to go to some virtual museum, like a virtual bodybuilding history museum, and that ticket will grant you access to that, where you can go read and learn about, I think specifically, Lou Ferrigno's bodybuilding history. So I thought that aspect of it was interesting. And no, by no means do I have anything to do with this. I'm not sponsored by him. I have no affiliation with this. I just thought it was a very unique story that Lou Ferrigno was dabbling in NFTs. I think I saw Ronnie Coleman has done it. I think Jay has done it, but those are younger guys that are more tapped into social media. I was just kind of surprised to see this Lou Ferrigno NFT project. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on it. Do you think it's going to be something valuable that has long-term promise? I know that a lot of you guys on this channel came from the old school bodybuilding history video. So a lot of you guys might be excited about this idea of a virtual NFT bodybuilding museum. I think it's an interesting concept. But then again, who knows? Maybe the whole thing will be a disaster. That seems to be the case with a lot of NFTs, or the NFT market in general right now is not doing too well. I actually only own one NFT. It's a MetaZoo NFT, and I've been holding it. I bought it in December, and I've been holding it ever since. And since I bought that thing, I think I paid like $1,000 for it. It's worth like $400 now. Like, it's gone nowhere but down. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have a similar experience right now. And the final story that I have for you guys today, we're about 10 weeks out from the New York Pro 2022, where Sadik Hadzovik will be making his grand return to the competitive stage. This is his latest physique update where he says he is 10 weeks out. A lot of people looking forward to Sadik's return. A lot of people looking forward to seeing him back on stage. He's got a very big fan base. And by the way, he is returning to men's physique. So he did switch to classic physique from men's physique for a while, But at this show, his comeback will be to the men's physique division. So I wanted to make that clear. He's not doing classic physique at the New York Pro. He is, in fact, doing men's physique, a division that I don't usually cover. But because I was a fan of Sadik when he competed in classic, I'm interested to see how he looks. He's been gone, I don't even know how many years it's been that he hasn't competed, maybe 3. But let me know how you guys think he's going to do in the comment section down below. As always, please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already for more news and updates just like this. And click that bell notification icon so you never miss an upload. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.